Good morning. Today I have a quick special report continuing on with the leaked recording from a devotional given by Dale Renland, Ruth Renland, and Susan Porter 2 years ago in San Jose, California. The previous videos will be linked in the show notes. In this brief but illuminating segment, Susan offers a rare peek behind the veil of the church's historic temple expansion and the temple garment. Let's listen.
I grew up in Western New York State. Until I was in high school, we were in the Salt Lake Temple District. What a blessing to have the blessings of the temple available to so many of us, so close.
This point bears repeating because it highlights the Mormon Church's profound moral imbalance. The Church consistently chooses to invest its vast wealth and member devotion in stone and ritual rather than in sustained, tangible human relief. They consistently choose to perform endless labor for the unverifiable needs of the past while bypassing the visible, urgent needs of the present.
And what was your reaction when you heard about a temple in San Jose? It was incredible. My brother and sister-in-law live in Nevada, so just north of the Bay. They were just stunned, and because they had been saying to me, talking about, well, they had to combine stakes here, people aren't moving away. It kind of had this dampening effect.
She did not just say that out loud, but she did. Just another illustration that the church knows it is building temples in areas where there are not enough active members to sustain them. At least they were when Russell was at the helm.
But what is the Lord saying for this area? Is he saying, well, we're just kind of in the latter days and we're going to close up shop? No, he wants to put a temple here.
Let's be clear. Russell Nelson wanted a temple there. It's become fairly obvious now that he is deceased and Dallas doesn't share his vision for an abundance of temples.
And so some of the questions came in, how can we prepare for this joyful occasion? Just a few months ago, I was able to go, maybe 6 months ago, to a stake center up in Layton. They were preparing for a temple, having no clue they would ever have a temple there because there are so many temples. But they were going to get a beautiful temple in their area. And so it started with the primary children. They thought, how can we help the primary children understand the blessings of the temple?
Of course, indoctrinate the young children before they grow up and are allowed to enter the temple and realize it is super culty.
And so they were helping primary children and their families start to gather names for the temple. They started talking to them about the covenants you make in the temple. How can we be obedient as a child? This primary effort caught on to young men's, young women's relief societies and elders' quorums, and we were able to attend in the stake center a whole cultural hall filled with displays of how children and youth were preparing for the temple.
And I guarantee that not a single one of those displays actually gave anyone any idea about what actually goes on in a Mormon temple.
I keep thinking of the words that will be over the doors of the beautiful San Jose temple. Holiness to the Lord. How can we begin offering holiness to Him now? As the scriptures say, we are the temple of God. How can we start preparing ourselves to be that temple, to be that light on the hill? What changes can we make in our lives so that we can feel the purity that children do, where there's no barrier for us with the Spirit of God?
And guess what? 2 years later, they must still be preparing because the construction of that temple has not even started yet.
What a joy. I'll just take there were several questions also on garments, and that's another topic that is covered in this Temple and Family History Executive Council. I want to assure you, sisters, there is a lot of research being done right now on the temple garment. As temples and temple-going sisters now live in Africa, they live in Tahiti, they live in Papua New Guinea, they live in San Jose. I want to assure you two things. One is kind of the physical structure of the garment. The church has received many comments, a lot of input.
Complaints is what she means to say. Complaints.
And there is a committee that is taking it all very seriously and doing everything possible to look for designs and fabrics and so forth that will help us be more comfortable in our temple garment.
I wish they would tell us exactly who is on that committee.
And then I also love how the church, we're now so open and helping one another understand what a privilege it is. As Sister Renlund was talking about superpower and the power that comes from covenants, the temple garment is a physical witness of the power that can come as we strive to keep those temple covenants every day, put them on, and can be reminded of the great blessings that come to us from living those covenants.
This is interesting to listen to, knowing that the garments changed and what that looks like. Did you also notice that she emphasized garment changes in countries outside the U.S.? I firmly believe that the new garment styles were never intended for U.S. members.
I pray that now, if it is a challenge for you, that you might offer a prayer to the Lord to open your eyes, to open your hearts, to help you feel the sacred blessing and privilege it is to have that.
That got cut off, but she was talking about getting a witness of the temple and the garments. I will admit again, like I have before, that I never liked wearing garments. I feel much more at home in my body without them. And that's your special report for today, folks. I absolutely hope you have the day that you deserve.